Hello, fourth graders. It's Miss Leon, and today we are going to learn about unit fractions, whole numbers, and how to multiply the two together. A unit fraction, as we all know, when we talk about fractions, there is a numerator and a denominator. A unit fraction is a fraction that has a 1 in the numerator always. It will always have a 1 in the numerator. That is what makes it a unit fraction, the fact that it has a 1 in the numerator. And then in the denominator, it can have any number in the bottom, but it has to be bigger than the number 1. So when I go ahead and I ask you about unit fractions, I really need you to remember that when you're talking about a unit fraction, the numerator has to have a 1, and then the denominator would be any number larger than 1. When I'm talking about whole numbers, I like to really think about whole numbers and the idea of people. So I'm going to draw a little person on the top because people are whole people. There's no fractional amount of people. So I'm going to say myself right here in the numerator, right? I'm a whole person. And guess what? There's only one of me in the entire planet. One of me only. There can never be one of me. So when I'm talking about whole numbers, please know the whole number, the number amount would be on top in the numerator, and in the denominator, there will always be a 1 at the bottom. Hard to even remember or hard to wrap your mind around, but please remember, when you have a whole number amount, there will always be a 1 in the denominator. It is important that you probably come back to these two ideas and reflect on them as you're doing your work. All right, to model what we are talking about, I am going to go ahead and I drew the number 1. This is a whole right here, but I broke up the whole into fourths. I have 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So what I want to do is I want to be able to write what is 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 in a multiplication problem. To do this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remodel my 1/4 in a little bit of a different way. Right here, I have 1/4. I'm going to break each one of these circles into 1/4. And the reason I am doing it like this is because I want to show the unit fraction against a whole circle. So I have 1/4 of each circle shaded. So there's one circle, there's a fourth, another fourth, and then a third fourth. So when I put all of this together, it would equal 3, 1, 2, 3, and there are, each circle is cut into 4 pieces, so 3/4. How do I write this in a multiplication problem? I see 1/4 repeated 1, 2, 3 times. There are 3 whole circles, so 3 times 1/4. I see 1/4 3 times all together. So how do I write 3 as a fraction? I would put 3 in the numerator, remember, and 1 in the denominator, because 3 is a whole number, and 3, as it was like pretending it's a person, okay? 3 is a whole number, it's unique, it's its own person. There would be only one of it in the world, so there's a 1 in the denominator. I'm going to multiply that by the fraction that I have listed here, and that's 1/4. When we are multiplying whole numbers with fractions, we multiply across. So we would do 3 times 1 and 1 times 4. So I'm going to rewrite that in a way that you may be seeing this in your work. And that would be in the numerator. They're going to write 3 times whatever that other numerator is, and then your denominators, which is 1 times 4. We are just doing it straight across. So 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 4 is 4. We are getting the same solution of 3/4. And that is how you multiply a whole number, like 3, by a unit fraction. And remember, a unit fraction is a fraction that has a 1 in the numerator always a 1 in the numerator. That is a unit fraction, and the denominator can be any number, but it has to be bigger than 1. And a whole number and the numerator is the whole number, just like I'm a whole person, but the denominator will always have a 1 in the denominator. Please know that when you see whole numbers, like this 3, it is an implied 1 at the bottom. They are not going to write the 1 at the bottom, but it's implied. It's there. So you need to remember that because it's implied, that you're going to put the 1 at the bottom. So that way you know how to show it when you're doing the multiplication problem.